Hey guys, so this is not a video that I ever wanted to have to make. Um, and I honestly debated even making a video talking about this because I have been seriously beating myself up over this for months. Um, it is currently February 6th, 2023, as I am filming this. You guys won't see this for a very long time if I even choose to post it at all. But as you guys know, I was living in Indiana from 2014 until 2021. And in that time, I ended up getting married. And prior to coming back, moving back up here to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, I was in a horrible marriage. There were a lot of issues, and I don't really want to go into that because I don't really think that that is or should be the topic of this video or, talked about at all. Even though it does have to do with my ex-husband. So my ex-husband, well, let me go back. When I moved back up here to Michigan, I was not able to bring my dogs with me. So Tucker and Caesar ended up having to stay with my ex-husband. And I was brokenhearted. I am still brokenhearted to this day, even more so now because of what happened. I was under the impression that everything was fine. He had told me multiple times before our divorce was finalized that everything was fine, the dogs were good, that he had everything he needed to properly care for the dogs. For those of you who don't know, Caesar was a dog that I got, a purebred Great Dane. He would be 3 this year, 3 years old. And Tucker was a senior Chihuahua, probably about 9 or 10 years old, that I had rescued from a woman who was just going to have him put down. And he was just the sweetest. Like, he would always sleep under the covers with me. Like, most nights I would wake up, he'd be in my armpit. Just the sweetest boy ever. Both of them were very, very sweet dogs. They are both alive, so please don't take the fact that I'm saying were to mean that he killed them or anything, but basically he almost did. So, like I said, I was under the impression that everything was fine, that he had everything he needed, that the dogs were good. If I had been able to bring them up to Michigan with me, I would have brought them both, and none of this would have ever happened. So shortly before Christmas 2022, I received notice from my friend Paul that Caesar had been brought in to the local animal control. The only reason he knew that it was Caesar was because it looked just like Caesar, in the face anyway. I am not going to post pictures of what Caesar looked like because he was very emaciated, skin and bones. He looked very, very sick. He had kennel sores and everything. And I am just, even to this day, it just breaks my heart because that image of him is forever imprinted in my mind. And that is not how I remember my dog looking at all. If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, then you know just how big and derpy and dorky and, just goofy that dog was. And he still is. He was taken to animal control. Apparently the situation was my ex-husband ended up getting evicted from the house that we were living in Indiana. According to the court documents that I have found, the electricity had been shut off to the house for months prior to this eviction. So I don't know when my ex-husband left that house. I don't know. I have not spoken to him. I do not wish to speak to him, simply because of how he treated those dogs. Regardless of whether he was angry at me, he could have, turned the dogs into the animal control at any point in time. He could have, contacted me to let me know, hey, things are not going well and I need to figure out a different situation for these dogs. Come to find out, he actually had adopted another Chihuahua. So it was Caesar, Tucker, and another Chihuahua there. And I can't remember if it was the same day or a couple days after, Tucker's face popped up on the animal control. And on their listing, they said that the owner abandoned Tucker and his brothers, is how they listed it. So Tucker and his brothers, meaning Caesar and this other Chihuahua. So like I said, I don't know when exactly my ex-husband left the dogs in the house and just abandoned them there to fend for themselves. But apparently there was no electricity, no utilities in the house. So I don't know how long they were there. I don't know how long they didn't have food, how long they didn't have water. Obviously, there's a big difference between a Great Dane and a Chihuahua, and just the way that Caesar looked. Like I said, I cried myself to sleep many, many nights just thinking, how could you do that to an innocent animal? How could you ever possibly do that? Like, you can see his ribs. I really thought Caesar was going to die. The shelter actually sent him to a foster who had him on different supplements, and they were very, very good with him, and they helped him out a lot. And I really think that if he hadn't ended up with that particular foster, that Caesar wouldn't be alive today. He looks a million times better. He looks just like the derpy, silly, goofy, big Dane that he was when I left. I still remember the day that I left and I had to leave the dogs there. Caesar was in the yard and just looking at me like, where are you going? And I wish I could rewind time and just either figure out like how to bring them with me or something. Like, I am still, this whole situation just haunts me. I will say though that there is a positive to this. Both Tucker and Caesar are up for adoption now. Caesar will probably be adopted soon if he hasn't been already. My friend Paul actually went to go see him on Friday of last week. Today's Monday, and sent me a picture and said that he is still very sweet, still listens very well. When Paul told him to sit, he sat and let Paul take a picture of him. Like, I was so worried with all this happening that he wouldn't be the sweet boy that he was when I left anymore, or that he wouldn't like people anymore. And Paul said that's not the case. So I'm very, very happy about that, at least. But Paul did tell me that there are, at least 10 applications as of Friday for him. And the shelter staff are being very selective as to who he goes home with. So I've been in contact with the breeder that I got Caesar from, and I'm just very happy that he's okay. And I told her on Friday, I said, I just, wherever he ends up, I just want him to be loved and happy and not have to worry about anything like that happening again. And Tucker is at a Chihuahua rescue. They want $275 for Tucker, which I think kind of sucks in a way, because they actually sponsored the adoption for the other Chihuahua that was in the house with Tucker and Caesar. So that Chihuahua got adopted like within days of going to that rescue, or within a week or so, I should say, just based on what I saw. And as of a couple weeks ago, Tucker was still at the rescue. I wish that there was a way that I could go get him. Honestly, both of them. And even my mother had said, she wishes that she had a place where, she could have both of them there, because she would definitely go get both of them for me. I just feel awful. And like I said, I don't I don't know that I will post this, but I just, as much as I was not being treated right in that marriage, um, as much as I was not valued as a person, or, um, not cared for, I never imagined that he would do this to innocent animals. Never in my wildest dreams. Like I said, it's so easy to turn the dogs into the animal shelter, turn them in, let it never had to come to this. And I don't understand why you would allow that to happen. Like, what in your mind told you it was okay to treat innocent animals like that? I will never understand that. I'm very hurt by this, so if you have negative comments to share, I don't want to hear them. I already felt horrible about having to leave the dogs there in the first place, and this just made that feeling even worse, because I blame myself for these dogs ending up in that situation. Like I said, if they had been able to come with me, they would have came with me. They would have been here this whole time. None of this would have ever happened. But I had no control over the situation. It was a situation where I was fleeing a certain situation, and I had to go based off of what the people who were taking me in allowed. And they had concerns about Caesar and Tucker just because of other dogs in the situation. So, we didn't want to bring the dogs up here only to have them not get along with the other dogs, and then having to, find new homes for them anyway. It was just not a good situation, and I don't want you to think that I'm making excuses, but when you're in that type of a situation and you have to leave for your own safety, certain sacrifices had to be made, and unfortunately that led to this situation. And like I said, I take full responsibility for having to leave my dogs there, but I just wish that there had been some sort of other solution, so that these beautiful animals didn't end up how they did. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of tell you guys, because that's sort of been the reason why I haven't been filming a whole lot. You guys haven't really realized that, because I still have so much of a backlog that I've still been posting videos anyway, but I just wanted to tell you guys the situation. So again, please, no negative comments. I don't have the mental capacity to deal with it right now. I'm beating myself up enough as it is, and my depression is totally ramped up. It has been since before Christmas because of this whole situation. And so yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys. So I'll see you guys next time.